A player brings a teammate to a workout, +1. For years, coaches have talked about culture. Now they can measure it. He encourages a teammate after a tough rep, +1. A player stays after the workout to help rack the weights, +1. What gets recognized gets repeated. Speed matters, strength matters, but so does leadership. Now you can score both.
Guys, welcome to the Arena Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Jackson. This podcast is going to be about your preseason parent meeting that is vital for you to get off on the right foot, to set your expectations, and make sure you, as best you can, dot your I's and cross your T's. I appreciate you guys being on here. I want this to be a coach's office, or I want this to be, we're all at a big table at a coaches convention and we're just shooting the bull basically, and someone says, hey, does anybody have a good idea about a parent meeting? So I'm going to talk about how I've done parent meetings, but this will be way better if you guys will engage. Feel free to interrupt me because that's what you have to do sometimes. I will openly say I miss the coach's office big time. That's why I'm doing this podcast, because I miss the coach's office. Every now and then I'll group text some people with a stupid joke or something because I miss being able to do it. So interrupt me, and I'm grateful. Here are my thoughts. Just the opening thoughts on a parent meeting is, some coaches may be listening to this who don't do it. You must set your vision and your expectations out for your parents, because you're going to have issues if you don't communicate. I used to tell this to my staff: whatever is important to the head coach, he's got to tell his staff, and now it's got to be important to the staff. With parent meetings, it's sort of the same way. How's the program going to be? What are your close-fisted beliefs? How are we going to do this? We got to talk to them about it. Here's my schedule for how I did a parent meeting. I had one before spring ball, and Coach Lester would speak. We would do recruiting. We'd talk about boot camp, what spring ball's about. We'd talk about the summer and make sure they knew what was coming up. My next parent meeting would be in the middle of the first week of fall camp. If we started fall camp on Monday, on that Saturday morning, we were going to have an inter squad scrimmage. And I was going to have a parent meeting that Thursday night, and I would have a couple of players and assistant coaches. I'm going to go through 2 ways that I've done mine, or really 3 ways, but I'm going to ask you guys to help me. We got to establish some ground rules here. So I think I can edit this. So, Eric, you start your parent meeting. You have it in May.
Yes, sir.
What are 3 things you're going to go over for sure, and how long does your meeting last?
Coach, I try to really honor my coaches. So first thing I do is, as they're coming in, I have whoever I'm using for picture day, they got a QR code, and the parents go ahead and fill that out as they're coming in and sitting down. That's one thing we knock out of the way, because we all know picture day is terrible. They're already signing up for picture day. They already know when it's going to happen. Another thing that I do is make sure I have all the rank 1 stuff up there so they can sign in on rank 1. I
So
got
for
QR
guys
codes.
out of state, that's all of our paperwork.
Yeah, I knock all that out. So when they're coming in, coach, you're knocking all that out.
So what would be rank 1 for out of state guys? What's rank 1? Like, what are the
all your compliance forms about, yes, I have a physical, all your compliance stuff for our sanctioning body, for our UIL is on
their address?
Yes, all that's on there. So I'm knocking that out, coach, before I even start. So they're already on it. And I'm going to talk about some of that stuff. So here's some other things that we knock out. I invite my booster club, because I want to grow that. So my booster club comes up. How do you join? And why booster club's needed. Next thing I'm going to have is my trainers. What time can you go to the training? When is the training room open? What constitutes you setting out a practice? Supplemental insurance. If you get hurt, how do you go about filling out insurance? So those are some things that I add to my parent meeting. But the number one thing I want them to know is summer, no communication is left to interpretation. If I don't tell you, you're going to say, well, my son ain't got to be there all summer. Coach didn't tell us what days to be there, so he ain't got to go. Summer is not a suggestion, it's mandatory for us. We reward those ones who show up. I wanted all the lies out of the way. We didn't know, that's a lie. Coach, you didn't tell us, that's a lie. I wanted my incoming freshmen to feel like they're a part of it. So in May, my incoming freshmen are coming to my parent meeting. All my new parents are coming in as well. Because they're fired up, there's a buzz about it. I want them there. So I try to knock all of that out within an hour, and the slides are there to keep us on track. I don't want a coach to go off the top of his head and just talk about anything. I introduce my coaches. I send my coaches home. And one thing that I always tell a parent is this: yes, we will have parent meetings. Yes, I know it's about playing time. You're not going to lie to me and tell me that you want to talk about how can my son get better. You really contact me because you really want to talk about how can my son get more playing time. And I let them know how your son get more playing time. So all that out in the open, coach. What to wear, what to buy, what cleats to buy. You only wear school color cleats. All of that stuff is in that PowerPoint for the summer because I don't want a parent to have to tell me, well, coach, I didn't know my son couldn't have a 10 advisor. You didn't tell us that until August, and I already bought all this stuff over the summer. So all that's done before the summer starts.
Would you email me that PowerPoint? And if someone wants it, I could send it to them.
Yes, sir.
And anyone on here, it's Coach Randy Jackson. Well, this is the easiest one. Culture at CoachRandyJackson.com. Culture at CoachRandyJackson.com. I'll put it in the show notes. But if you'll email me, and Coach Weaver's on here from Madison Ridgeland Academy in Jackson, Mississippi. Any of you guys on here that do parent meetings, we would love to have your PowerPoint. Bottom line is, an hour, I think, is about the maximum your meeting can be because we don't want to be in church more than an hour. If you don't plan it, I've had parent meetings that were almost 90 minutes. That's bad. So, Coach Weaver, welcome.
Hey, what's up, Andy?
Good to have you on, buddy. We got an echo right here. I don't know if it's my fault, but
I definitely hear it, but it's just like when you're talking, I guess, at a PA on a sound system in a football field, just don't listen to the second person.
so tell us, John, when do you have your parent meeting?
Dude, you just jumped KP from Arkansas. You've been chasing him all month. Congrats.
No way, let me see.
Until now, athletes compete against teammates. Now, they'll compete nationwide. Quarterbacks against quarterbacks. Linebackers against linebackers. Every position, every school. More competition, more motivation, more reason to chase.
Well, this is a new development. Just became the AD June 1st. So mine is going to happen the 1st of August.
Okay, how long will it last?
Oh, be 40 minutes.
Okay, awesome. Tell us three things that
One
you're
of the
going to
main
make sure you
things.
talk about.
The first one, I think, is the most important, or high school or junior high, is ILYWP, or excuse me, ILWIP. I love watching you play. And that's all your parents need to really say to your kids when they get off the field. So I tell the parents, like, hey, they get enough criticism from the coaches. We're going to love on them. But you need to tell them, I love watching you play, whatever sport it is. The other one is the 24-hour rule. If you have a complaint, a concern, it's 24 hours before any communication with staff, administration. So if you're getting pissed off at 7:30 on a Friday night, you got till 7:30 on Saturday to send that email. And then the third thing is let them know why your objectives are. I'm going to speak on youth football. We organize our elementary football programs. You got professionals come in, you got kids that played for us that are now back in Madison to now come coach these kids. Safe, fun, tough, organized is what they're going to get out of our football practice for youth football. And I think that's important for the parent, for them to know, like, hey, I know what this coach stands for. So I don't know. I think your primary role as a parent is let them know I love watching you play. Know the things that go on inside your program.
I think John had some good stuff there. Guys, the first thing you say to your team, to your staff, or to Your parents should be about you. Like, what is it about you that makes you tick? And what are you about? And I would tell them this: y'all are all going to be mad at me this year. I know that. My feelings aren't going to get hurt. On 3rd and 12, we're going to screw it up. On 3rd and 12, there's about a 20% chance you're going to convert it. So, we're just kind of doing the best we can, but you're not going to be mad at me this year. You're not going to be mad at me for not loving your kids. You're not going to be mad at me for holding your kids accountable. You're not going to be mad at me because I'm going to help raise them. And as y'all know, that's a lot of work. It's a daily thing. I call it the daily fist fight. So your kids are going to be held to a standard every day. So if you want to be frustrated at us because we run 3 down instead of 4 down, that's fine. If you played and y'all ran wing T back in the day, but we're running spread and you don't like that, that's okay. But here's what I'm telling you. You got a head coach here whose heart's in the right place and who's going to love on your kid. And 20 years from now, your kids are still going to have great memories and been in a program that meant something. So here is, guys, real quick. I don't want to bore anybody with this, but I think we all love to see how people do things. So this was my meeting. It wasn't very long, but I'm going to tell you after I show you this, the best way to do it. Okay, head coaches, you can't wear shorts and a t-shirt to your parent meeting. Do not walk off the practice field and have a parent meeting. One year in Grapevine, I wore a sports coat and I really felt good. But for sure, you got to have on some pants, a belt, and tuck in a game shirt at minimum. But you're setting the standard of what you're about. So look professional. And again, tell them, here's how we're going to win. All going to point in the same direction. We're going to be disciplined, but all this is going to be a daily standard. And your son might have to have some tough love in here. You need to help us. If you don't like the coaches, wait until your son graduates to tell them. Everybody's different. You might not like the offense or defense, but if you're going to complain at the dinner table, we're not going to hear it. You're affecting your son. And your son needs to believe in his coaching staff. No matter how you feel about the coaching staff, show it to him after he graduates, because you're only hurting your son if you talk bad about the coach's staff. After 4 days of practice, this is an important slide. Here's what we got to fix if we're going to win. We got to stop cursing. We got to have better attendance. I shouldn't be reminding about earrings. I've been told about grades, but I think you don't be afraid to say, here's what's going on these first 4 days that is going to hold us back. I need your help fixing this. This is a great picture from my buddy Rick Jones. Put this picture in here and say, what's wrong with this picture? You'd be amazed how many people don't know what's wrong with it. They all see that one kid's really ahead. But tell them, we will not let this happen. So we're going to fix this. We're all going to have our hand behind the line. We're all going to be perfect. We're all going to have that discipline, and we're going to fix it every time. We're going to look like this. So every day that we start practice, I think you should give them scenarios. Put what your program is about in their head. We're going to start every day like this. Our toes are going to be on the line. What would I say, Lester? We're going to touch the line, but not on it.
Yep.
You say
Touch
toe
it.
the line.
Toe the line, touch it, but don't be. And coaches, you can see a coach down there. He's inspecting it. So we're looking for earrings. We're looking for, are we dressed correctly? And If we're not, we're going to fix it. And you'd be amazed. There's some teams who can't stand like this. And we're going to be able to do that.
Hey, Randy, can I interject real quick?
Sure.
I was listening to a podcast this weekend, and it's from a Navy SEAL on SEAL Team 6. And I think this is the perfect example of what you allow in your presence is your standard.
Mm. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. And that's daily. And you got to tell your parent, no, this isn't going to be something it's going to come easy. But we're not just coaching for who can run the best route. We're trying to change how they think. Okay, but if you don't like this picture, it's okay. But if you don't do this in your parent meeting, we can't be friends. What is your attendance policy? Because this is going to save you a million headaches. And if Rick Jones were here, I would hug him around the neck right now. This is the best thing he's ever taught me. I used it my last 5 years as a head coach, and it was amazing. So in Greenville, Texas, where I took over August the 1st, honestly, August the 4th or something like that, they had kids who would miss practice and still start at quarterback before I got there. And so I had to fix this. If I wouldn't have had this, Greenville would have been the worst year of my life. But it wasn't because of this. So here's what attendance means for us. We call it priorities: God and church, family, academics, football. So here's a priority for a Greenville Lion football player. God and church is number one, family's number two, academics is number three, and football is number four. Then there is a line for you guys listening to this who can't see it. God and church, family, academics, football. Then there's a line, and under that line is everything else. So if you miss practice, where does it fall on that list? Did you have to go to church? Excused. Did you have a family funeral? Excused. Did you go to an academic event? Excused. But we have excused and unexcused. We're going to make up the conditioning for excused, but it's going to be double if it's unexcused. Example. So I'm doing this with parents. So I'm explaining this to them, and I think they have it, but we're not sure. Now they're going to have it. So I'm going to go, okay, guys, let's do a quiz. John needs to miss practice because of a UIL academic event. And then I'll ask them, is that excused or unexcused? And there'll be 7 or 8 say, that's excused. Correct. All right. John has to get his driver's license. So ask them, John has to get his driver's license. Is that excused or unexcused? Well, let's go back to this list. I mean, I would do it this slowly. Okay, God and family. And here's what I'd tell them. Some of y'all might be thinking family because it's going to help the family. No, no, no. He can get his driver's license some other time. He can get his driver's license during English class because he can make up that English assignment. But he can't make up football. Probably wouldn't say that, but we'd be thinking it. John has to take his mom to a doctor's appointment. Family. We're good with that. So I'd make sure they knew that we're not just going to hammer them to the cross if they have to miss, but there isn't going to be, as a head coach, your battery only has so many decisions you want to make every day. That used to drain my battery. The last 3 years I was a head coach, I got Luster to make as many decisions for me as I could because I got tired. We didn't want to be Judge Judy every day. Luster was my grim reaper. Luster, my guy. He was my excused, unexcused guy. And we didn't want to have to Judge Judy this thing. And I think parents, if they know it's okay, like this is it. And I don't know how they could argue any of this. Anybody got a question about priorities or excused, unexcused? Okay, trial and success. Tell them they are a part of the solution. This isn't going to work without you. We have to have a good admin. Thank them if they're helping. Tell them thank you, whether they are or not. Tell them they are. Coaches and parents, but they're part of this. So then I would tell them what a typical day looks like. In our meeting, I want them to know hey, here's what we did in Greenville. We were going to practice during our 50 minutes before lunch. And then after school, we're going to have leadership academy and weights, film study, and then we're going to go out. So we're going to get 45 minutes on the field during the day, and then we're going to get an hour on the field after we do meeting, weights, and film study. And it really wasn't terrible because it was sort of like 2 days, but we weren't ever in that heat more than an hour. But they knew. I showed them what a practice schedule looked like. Do they care about this? No, but it makes you look organized. We didn't spend much time on this, but this is not a little league practice where we're figuring it out as we go. Show them, dress the part, show them how organized you are. We're going to wear ties on game day. Booster Club, can we buy some red ties with a G on it? If we can't, it's okay. We'll just bring them from home. Tell them about changes. We're going to wear ties on game day. I had a nutritionist tell me this, that this is a good pregame meal. Cold cuts and some chips to get a little salt, and that's a pretty good pregame meal. This is what our pregame meal is going to be. Parents, I need you to help us make pregame meal. Again, no big deal. You must have a calendar. This is their love language. Calendars are the parents' love language. August 14th, meet the Lions. We had to sell lion cards, scrimmage. I always put Thanksgiving practice on there. We went 3-7, and I was proud of that. I knew we weren't going to play on Thanksgiving. Also emailed this to the parents. I'd only been there a week or 10 days. Someone asked me before we started, what do you do when you say it's mandatory and they don't show up? Anybody like to help me answer that before I answer how I would do it?
We talked about having a contract they still have to sign. They still got to come meet you or a designated coach. My assistant head coach would be another guy they can meet if they couldn't find me, and he would have the contracts as well. It's not a free ride. If it's mandatory, it's mandatory. Somebody's got to show up. I'll let grandma and grandpa show up for mom and dad, but you got to tell me ahead of time. Somebody's got to be there to sign those papers.
So that's what I did as well. If you didn't come to the parent meeting, then you had to come meet with us one-on-one, and I was going to go over this PowerPoint with you individually. So my meeting was in the middle of fall camp. Your son was not going to get to compete in the scrimmage against our opponent if I didn't meet with you either in this meeting or one-on-one. And the one-on-one meeting wasn't very long because we get it, but we're going to have this printed out. We're going to give it to you and you're going to sign something. Guys, we all know this. If you've coached longer than 30 minutes, you know that parents are going to shake their head yes when you say, hey, this is what's going to happen at a drug test. You're going to be suspended. Your first offense, you're going to be suspended 1 game. Second offense, the rest of the season, whatever it is. And they're all going to shake their head yes. Week 8, Tommy's going to get busted for drugs and their parents are going to get amnesia. You must have something that shows where they signed and they understood the policy. We're going to make sure we have a sports U. I'm going to make sure they're on sports U, which is band or remind. We're going to make sure we can communicate. Football season should never end. You should post a picture in the parent sports U every day. Take a picture of warm-ups. It ought to be a picture of as many kids as you can. After practice on Monday, we're going to have some juice winners. Who is the most enthusiastic today? Let them nominate 3 kids. Those 3 kids stand up, take their picture, put it in the sports U. Parents will devour that. In off season, you should have a picture in sports U. Anytime you're with kids, there should be a picture in the parent sports U. Real quickly, here is what I would do if I'm Brian Herman and I'm the new coach. Slideshow, play from the start. I'm a new coach in Corpus Christi. Here's how I would do parent meeting. I don't remember who told me this, but I would have them in one big room if I could. One big room. So I got 400 parents. And I'm going to introduce myself as the head coach. I'm going to wear a sports coat with a button down shirt, probably not a tie. I'm going to look really nice. And I'm going to talk about Smith High School football and Memorial High School football. What are we about? What our goal at Memorial High School football is to help grow young men. They're going to be in a leadership academy that happens to play football. And we're going to produce young men that are going to be winners as husbands and fathers when they're 30. And if we'll do that, we'll win more games because of it. But we're going to take care of the root, and the fruit will just happen. So we're going to help you raise your kids. We're going to hold them accountable. We're going to love on them. We're going to high five them, and no child left behind. In about the year 2000, a government study said that the critical decade for all humans is 15 to 25. Guys, if you don't use this in your parent meeting, then you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. No Child Left Behind said the critical decade for all humans is 15 to 25. After 25, your brain is developed and you're on your way. They did a study. The most successful adults had 5 people that cared about them in the critical decade. One time I got to give this presentation at a teacher in service, and I challenged them, you got to be one of the 5. My daughter didn't play any sports, and she didn't have 5. Mom and dad, who else would it be? She was in the garden club after school. I mean, I doubt it. So successful adults have 5 people who that kid can go, that adult cares about me. So we got to be one of the 5. So I would spend 15 minutes in front of those 400 people, and then I would release them into 4 different places. And I know this is probably best case scenario, but I'd have my freshmen go speak to the trainer. So we're going to do 15 times 4, that's 60. We're going to do 10-minute things, and we're going to rotate. And Luster helped me figure out what these 4 rooms would be. The athletic trainer, freshmen are going to the athletic trainer. The sophomores going to what, recruiting coordinator?
I know for a fact it's probably more juniors. Juniors really wanted to know at that time.
But all 4 of them are going to go to all
Yeah.
of them. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So athletic trainer, recruiting coordinator. What else?
You had to go for your booster club spiel could be in one.
Yeah, your booster club could be one, but there's so much stuff to talk about. Like I think we got to have somebody talking about first day. Well, we've already done first day procedures. Okay, here's another, my favorite way that I did parent meetings. Lasted too long. I invited a referee, brought these people up one by one. I spoke for 10 minutes. And then I had the recruiting coordinator speak for 10 minutes. And then I invited a referee. And the mamas loved this. And they got to ask the referee questions. Oh my gosh, that could have went 25 minutes every time. So head coach, recruiting coordinator, referee, athletic trainer. And so the athletic trainer is going to explain to them, hey, here's what secondary insurance means. We're going to file on yours first. If you don't have any insurance, they're going to file on ours, but it ain't going to be very good. Don't think if your kid has to have a surgery, you're not going to have to pay anything. This is how it works. I had a nutritionist come in. And then I had a defensive coordinator kind of do like a little fun quiz on their phone. This was Mom's 101.
Yes.
But your parent
And
meeting could operate like this. So if you can put them in 4 groups and rotate, like I think one of your 4 groups could be equipment. Okay, here's how we do equipment. We wash your kids' clothes every day. Here's what they're going to wear. So if you're four groups, it could be recruiting coordinator, athletic trainer, equipment, and then maybe the head coach is the fourth one, where the head coach now is just talking to each group, and maybe the head coach and the assistant head coach are together. I think if I had a way to have four groups and rotate, that would be awesome. One of them could be in the locker room. That wouldn't be a bad 10 minutes, right? Here's how we do lockers. The more I think about this, lockers needs to be one. If your son gets something stolen, then he unlock his locker. We'd like to say no one steals in our program, but we'd also like to say unicorns fly. So I would have one that was locker room. So athletic trainer, and I don't even know if recruiting coordinators, but I think in this day and age, that's probably pretty big. Athletic trainer, recruiting coordinator, locker room. Locker room could also be with equipment. Maybe number four is a strength coordinator. If you're not sure if you have a number four, it'd just be the head coach again, and you could talk about different things. Anybody else have a way that you do a parent meeting? I'm talking about organization. Do you just leave them all in one room, or do you rotate? Anybody have an idea about this?
Yeah. I
I think
try
you
to
keep
do
them
it two
all in the
different
same
ways.
room.
Room?
I like keeping them all in one room. When I was the head track coach or the head junior high football coach, whatever, I think you keep them all in the same room. What I think you can do is, like you said, and I've never done this, but I'm probably going to steal this. Have a question, make sure they're paying attention, and say, "Hey, can you answer that?" And just call them out. And you can kind of see the ones that are wandering off, and those are typically the ones that have the questions at the end. When you say questions and people raise their hands and you've answered that 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
So and you can add, like, we do a deal where we say, hey, what's our four core values? If they get it right, we give them a T-shirt, and it's only a T-shirt they can get from us. They can't go buy it anywhere. They can only, it's a coach T-shirt that we have extra of, but you can't buy it, and they love it.
Yeah, that's that. Everybody wants me
Yeah.
gear because they see it on you. Like, where'd you get that? Like, it's exclusive to
Exactly.
us.
But I give it to the parents and they can answer those questions.
Yeah, I love that. And now I'm venturing off into Mom's 101 here, but in Mom's 101, we used to feed them a pregame meal, which would be a cold cut sandwich and chips and water and a fruit and maybe a cookie or something. But hey, here's the pregame meal that your son needs to eat. And the more I think about it, that fourth group, if you were going to rotate them, and if you weren't, if you do a parent, I mean, if you're going to say our program's a leadership academy that happens to play football, then and what we do on our parent meetings, I mean, on our leadership academy, is we're going to have a 20 or 30-second TikTok video because our kids are going to be all in on that. I believe it'd be a great way at your parent meeting. What if you started your parent meeting with a 20-second video of Eric? Like, I'm thinking about the parachute one. What would be a great video to start a parent meeting with?
For me, coach, it's that clip of DK Metcalf chasing down a DB after he picked the ball.
Yeah.
And I said, this is what I want from your son. Effort. If you want me to love your son, yes, I have favorites. That guy right there would be my favorite.
But again, a 15-second video, if your preacher ever shows a video, that's what you remember from the sermon.
Y'all think about Remember the Titans?
Yep.
He's asking Petey, is football fun?
Yeah.
Show that clip to him, like, is football fun? A lot of times your kid's going to come home and have that same answer that Petey did. Yes, no, I don't, yes, no.
Yeah.
Not have a clue because practice was either hard or it was fun that day or it was tough. But it goes back to the parents, like, hey, just be supportive. The two main things that a parent can do is ask questions and then listen.
Yeah.
Provide no feedback. Just ask questions and listen. You know, Petey on Friday night, like
Yeah,
on
that'd
Friday,
be great.
Remember the Titans.
Well, man, I do this at my parent meeting as well. I tell them that if your son goes D1, that has no reflection on your parenting skills. If your son goes D3, still doesn't reflect your parenting skills. If your son's a starter, still doesn't reflect your parenting skill. If your son is a backup, man, and he's a holder on a field goal, still doesn't reflect your parenting skills. So don't be all of you in your kid, man. Let him be a kid. Let him enjoy this. And I would tell him, I say, hey, you coming to talk to me doesn't guarantee more playing time. You donating money to my program, maybe, but still don't mean more playing time. So I kind of want them to know in that parent meeting that, hey, we're going to coach your kid regardless if he's 6'2", 5'2", and we're going to love your kid. He's going to enjoy our program no matter how much playing time you think he should get or what position that he plays. Your son's in a great place because he's here at Brazos Wood.
Yeah, I think creating great experiences for those kids. A lot of times, I had a kid come in today that quit our football team. And I said, man, what happened? And I called him Happy Feet. He was one of our running backs. That was his nickname. And he goes, well, I hope I made the right decision because I want to get a baseball scholarship. And I was like, hold on now. I said, you're playing the sport for the wrong reason. I said, you play to have fun, have great teammates, and you're giving yourself a chance to go play college, whatever you want to, whether it's baseball, football. But I think a lot of times when you see this in kids today, they're playing the sport to get the scholarship. They're playing the sport to get the NIL money for the college that they want to go to rather than enjoying the sport. And I think that's another thing you tell your parents is your child is here to get an education. And then it's not extracurricular. Any sport that they play is not extra. It's co-curricular. So it's alignment with your school. But that's what they're there for. And then what are we doing as coaches to provide them the best experience, the best opportunity to compete, and then winning if it happens. Randy Patriot, right, as our mascot, but Pat's and its program above the scoreboard. So we're going to take care of our program, but the scoreboard's going to take care of itself. If you build anything on winning, it's like sinking sand. It's not sustainable. So that's some of the things that you can tell parents in a meeting, like, hey, we're going to coach your kid just like he's ours. I'm going to love on him. I'm going to have those hard conversations. And football's going to be fun some days, and football's not going to be fun some days. But know that they're going to be put on.
And you have to be highly organized, or it's going to take too long. Because I think you need to tell them why you run this offense. Whatever your offense is, if you're slot T, here's why we run it. Because they don't see slots T on Saturdays on television. I think it's okay. You got to tell them. For me, I'm Art Briles. Our wideouts are going to be almost on the sideline, and I'm going to tell them why. So when you get mad at us on 3rd and 12, at least you know we do have a philosophy, and here's what we're thinking. I think you have to spend. If I had to give this percentages, it's got to be 20% organization, 20% philosophy of why you do things, 20% admin, and then 40% has got to be, I love your kid. I'm going to help you raise him. You won't get through it all if you don't have it organized, but I think you got to find a way to make sure you're telling them we're going to tough love them and everything is going to matter in our program. And we're not just going to give them stuff. They're going to have to earn it and they're going to be better for being on our program. Okay. I used to always say this. Here's what I want your son to say. When he graduates high school, football was the hardest thing that I did. And it was the best thing that I did. The hardest and the best. The only way that's going to happen is we have coaches who are relational. How do you hire your coaches? Man, when I interview a coach, I'm not looking for a guy who coached linebackers at Georgia Tech because linebackers is not brain surgery. I need a guy who loves kids and knows linebackers. I don't need a linebacker expert who doesn't care about kids because there are some coaches out there who love coaching, but they really don't want to send a happy birthday text or something. I think that'd be a great thing too to explain to them what your staff is about and how you hire staff.
Hey, Coach, it's Coach Wainwright. I had a company. We down here, we fixing to launch the boat. It's the afternoon. It's time to do a little fishing.
Jeff Wainwright is in South Louisiana, and he sends me a picture of catching a big old fish every so often.
I'll send you one tonight. To all the younger guys out there, I've been a head coach 24 years, had a lot of these parent meetings, had a lot of parent conflicts, had a lot of player conflicts, had a lot of teacher conflicts. Everybody knowing the path that you're going down or your vision of what the football team, the beginning of the season and the end of the season is going to look like has always been the best problem solver is when people know what the trip is supposed to look like. So give them the best vision of what this trip is going to look like from a parent standpoint, how they can be successful, because ultimately they're showing up supporting your program because they want to be a great parent too. I always do this. I tell them, I don't remember where I got it from, but I heard this one time when I was younger and it made the most sense to me. As a parent, use the game of football to have a relationship, a vehicle to have a relationship with your son. Meaning every day, just come home, and I ask the parents to do this, whoever that loved one is at that meeting, no matter who it is. Hey, how was practice? And eventually, maybe on Thursday, they'll break down and have a conversation, a real conversation about practice. It might be 4 days in a row. Good, 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 good. And then they may come in, and I've had parents say, hey, 30 minutes later, he come back from his room and said, hey, Dad, check this out. Watch this clip. Why the hell you think Coach is mad at me for this? And then they have a real conversation. And then Dad can talk about, probably because your room's messy, your locker's messy, just stuff like that. So ask the parents every day, listen, this is your opportunity to interject into their life and say, how was practice? How was practice? What'd you think of the game? Just some one-liners. And then the teenager will fill in the gaps for them. That's always been a big help, is you want to teach that parent how to be successful. What I tell them is you don't want them to say, hey, Dad, this is the helicopter dad. Hey, I watched the practice, because we upload our practice immediately. And a lot of the good coaches do. Hey, I watched your practice. Why didn't you take 5 steps on your post route? We've talked about this 100 times. 5 steps. Why'd you break it at 3? Why'd you go to 7? That's the exact way to turn your student off, your child off, and then you're going to lose them. And when they need you the most, they're not even going to look for you. They're going to look for a stranger. They're going to look for a vape. They're going to look for something else besides you, because they don't trust you, the parent.
They don't need more criticism.
They don't need any more criticism. Y'all said it earlier. The coaches are going to fix all the things that they're not doing correctly. And I don't say criticize. I say, hey, we're fixing what they don't do correctly.
That's good.
But the other thing, Coach, on organization, I start mine at 5. So 5 is sign up for everything. I have volunteers, and that's the first chance that you can buy Hornet season passes, Hornet gear. So everybody wants to be there because we have a limited supply. We only have 100 parking passes that are available. And so they have to be there to get those first, because when they're sold out, we have 100 concrete parking spots. Everything else will be on grass after that. We're a country school. So they show up to buy that stuff. So from 5 to 6 is that while we're wrapping up practice. I love what you said about dressing professionally. Take the 5 minutes to dress professionally. It'll go a mile. I've always done that. And then talk from 6 to 6:30 and let everybody go. That's been our deal. Our principal or whoever runs your school will address the crowd first, introduce everybody, introduce the coach, the AD, and let them have that format, because that's what they do. That's what the principal is supposed to do. And the principal will say, look, if you have a problem from the JV game, email me. I will get with coach the next morning. We will email you. And that's our rule. We go through the principal. The principal contacts me. I tell the principal when I'm most available next, and then we go from there. Give the principal that little task. Coach don't have to do that, because it's kind of awkward when you're up there. I've done that. Hey, we got a 24-hour rule. Let the principal do all that. That's what they do. They're great at that. So find some other people to do those administrative tasks for you if you're a young guy, and take some of that off your plate, and the meeting will be way more enjoyable. And then I always end with this, and I tell them, the scoreboard and the clock dictates the personnel grouping that is on the field. And that can be 45 to nothing. It could be 0 to 45. It could be 28. Oh, nice. So that dictates everything. And I tell the parents this, I'm big on examples. Every one of you that's lived in Texas has had to drive through Dallas, Texas, or Houston, Texas during rush hour. And it's very dangerous. It's life-threatening sometimes. And I tell them this, would you give that wheel, if we were going through Dallas, Texas, would you give the wheel to Johnny? Or who's going to drive that vehicle through Dallas, Texas? If you're not going to say, hey, hell yeah, I'll give it to my son to drive me through Dallas, Texas, I'm probably going to do the same thing. I'm not going to give him the football or the starting linebacker position or the starting guard position yet, because he can't protect everybody that's in our vehicle, the football team. But he will learn how to become that. Now, we get a mile from the hunting camp and we pass the gate, I'll turn a 13-year-old the keys. Just like I will when it's 48 to nothing with a minute and a half to go, I'll put a 14-year-old quarterback. But he's not going to be in there 28-28 in a district championship game. And so there's a place and time for everybody on my squad to be on that game field.
I've never heard that example. That is brilliantly great, Jeff. I love that you shared that with us.
I'm going to check out, though. I just want to tell you I'm enjoying this. And anybody has any questions on this stuff, get with them older guys, because we've all seen it. I've damn near had to put my brother in a headlock one time as a parent.
Yeah.
So
You better have a good parent meeting. Yeah. So
Yep.
can I ask one question?
Sure.
What did you said first? I want to give them a vision of how it's supposed to look, and that'll solve a bunch of. What is that? Can you unwrap that for us real quick?
Yes, sir. So what we talk about is, hey, what is a Grand Lake Hornet supposed to play like? What is a Hornet? A Hornet should be able, one of these guys that can play multiple positions, could be intelligent. He has to be able to compassionate to his other guys. So those are all things that we're going to teach. And then our number one saying, we finish this sentence before we go to every game. Number one is effort takes, and they say no talent. And that's what I try to get across to the parents, is that when you watch your kid play, you should see relentless effort, number one. And that's what I'm trying to get across to him, is when you come across your biggest problems in life, the number one thing that's going to get you through it is God and effort. You're going to have to crawl out of whatever hole that you've created. That's what I try to teach these boys. At the end of this season is going to bring you to one of the lowest points in your life, because only one team is going to be a state champion. Only one team is going to get to be really excited about this journey. At the end of that game, you're going to have to crawl off of being in that low spot. And the foundations of this journey is what's going to help you look forward to the next journey. When the helmet goes up, if you're a senior, it's, hey, where am I going to apply to college? What is my real goals in life now that I have all these skills of communication, hard work, toughness, discipline that are going to make me successful? And that's why they should play football. It's for all those core elements that we're looking to teach a young man how to be successful. It's just try to wrap that up real quick in a little 3-4 minute talk to the parents. Like, the vision is to win the state championship, but it's also to create a responsible young man. That's going to look different as a 14-year-old coming out of this thing. It's going to look different to an 18-year-old coming out of this thing. And it takes 4 years to really get this kid to be able to drive through Dallas, Texas. That's just kind of, my own little thoughts on all that stuff.
Jeff, thank you. Don't catch them all.
I'm trying to catch everyone down there in Louisiana, but it's hard. There's so damn many. You got to stay consistent with it.
Jeff, seriously, you just got us better, buddy. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Well, I'm enjoying it too, and I'm learning as well. Like I said, I think I'm starting my 25th year as a head coach. My ultimate goal is to retire without being fired, and that's pretty damn tough. So,
Thanks,
anyway,
buddy.
Love you guys. All right, thanks.
Love you too, man. Thank you. All right, Justin Velasquez.
Yes, sir.
I know you're working and you're busy, but first year at Brazosport, and are you fixing to have a preseason parent meeting?
Yes, and I've been writing a bunch of stuff on my board. I woke up this morning and was texting my assistant head coach like, hey, we got to get parent meeting stuff ready.
Yeah.
And you sit through them every year as an assistant, and it's funny when you start thinking about it, there's so much to cover, you kind of just go blank and you don't even know where to start.
Great point. And you can't cover it all. And I used to try to do that, and it was too long. You can't cover it all. Tell us, what are 2 or 3 things you're going to cover?
Definitely want to go through the biggest thing that you said was the calendar. I actually just responded to a parent asking for some dates. So, and I had to tell her, hey, we'll cover this in our parent meeting. I'll give you a handout. So, they just want to know. They just want to know. I think it's important that they come away feeling like they talked to you one-on-one, even though they didn't, right? Did I give you this generic about me, or did I really kind of peel the curtain back just for
be
a
a
couple
little vulnerable.
Minutes? Yes.
Be a little vulnerable.
Yep.
Love it.
So just really, they walk away kind of knowing your personality a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's important that at some point, planned or unplanned, you make them laugh. Whether you have, a joke prepared or something, right? It just kind of because we all know what's coming. Like the emails, the phone calls, it's inevitable, like no matter where you're coaching. So if we can just start the thing off on a positive note and have them leaving thinking, oh, that was pleasant. That was kind of fun. I think you did your job.
I had a parent who remember at North Forney, we had the receiver that transferred from Poteet. Well, I'd coached his older brother at Poteet, and he said to me, his dad said, Coach, one thing I like about you is you don't have a God complex. And I feel like now I do think you have to let them know these are the rules, but I don't think you want them thinking you're Zeus and you're just throwing down lightning bolts.
Right.
I think you do want to be vulnerable, and you want them to know, like I've told this story a few times, but I coached at North Forney, a kid that's in the UFL now,
Corey Mayfield.
Corey Mayfield. And I disciplined Corey, and his dad said, Coach, Corey knows you have his best interest at heart. And man, it's like, oh, okay. Like, I think so. Here, guys, when you have your first player meeting, you get the job, and your first player meeting, those players must go home so excited. They have to tell their parents, we hired the right guy. They're so excited. When you have your first parent meeting or any parent meeting, those parents should go home going, we hired a guy that's going to help us raise our kids. And, we hired the right guy. We hired a real stand up guy. I think that's got to be part of your mindset.
100%. Starts with when you walk in looking presentable.
Right. That's right. Are you going to wear a sports coat?
Yes. 100%. I mean, it's my first. I got to do it right.
You got to.
It's my first
Send
time.
me a
right?
picture.
I will.
Are you going to show a video in your parent meeting?
I am, and I'm trying to think of. Here's my thought. When you guys were going over video clips, the one that hit my brain was PJ Fleck at walking around to practice. So why not take the opportunity to stage that exact same video with your own coaches? So, like, pick a coach out, like, hey, today when we stretch, I want you to walk around and talk to kids and high-five them, and I'm going to videotape them doing that. Like,
okay. So what if you showed 20 seconds of PJ doing it and then 20 seconds of T doing it?
That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
And saying, here's what we're doing. We're copying this.
Yes.
That's Coach Trevino, he'd probably crush that,
Yes. Coach Talley would probably be better. Coach Trevino has already figured out how he's going to murder you with whatever he has available, his water bottle.
We said that he could kill us with a paper clip.
Yes, 100%.
Anybody else, guys, have anything that you do at a parent meeting that 300 coaches need to hear? Or however many it'll be. This thing will be up forever, but it's vital you get started your year off by letting them know a calendar, what an absence means. John said this, the 24-hour rule. I would tell my parents, if you want to have a meeting, me, and I'll get back with you. Usually if they email me on Monday, I'm going to try to set the meeting up on Wednesday. I want to delay it a couple of days because, they're going to get less mad. But you have to have a foundation of, here's what our program is about. And if they're late, they're going to bear crawl. And we're not going to be a judge every day. And Darren, is that you? It says iPhone.
Yes, that's me.
All right, Darren. So this is Darren Fisher from Whiteland, Indiana, who does OVR. And I didn't want to make this a commercial, but OVR would be huge at a parent meeting, I think. But how many years have you coached, Darren?
This will be my 35th year as a head coach.
Darren's fixing to drop some good knowledge on us of how he does parent meetings.
I wanted to talk about something that has become one of the most important things we talk about is what is the culture to me is behavior. How does your behavior make everybody feel about being a football player? I think the parents' role, they have to understand their role in the culture, that a positive attitude and positive talk is contagious among the players and all the parents and the people in the crowd. A negative attitude and negative talk doesn't work. There's a picture you can put on the wall that says, more seasons have been ruined in these two places, at the dinner table and in the car. Your responsibility as a parent is to talk people up. Your responsibility in the car and at the dinner table is to say, I'm proud of how hard you're working, and I love watching you play. Yep. Basically, accomplishments of a kid or a young man only last for a short amount of time. It's that the parent appreciates the work and the effort that goes in, because I tell the parents, the hardest part of my job is I wish I can make everybody's dreams come true, but I can't. But what I can do is offer them an experience that helps them grow as a young man and be better down the road. And part of that, the parents have a huge part of that in the stands. You're not just a fan. You're a part of the program. You have a role in winning the game. We've prepared him all week long with positive talk. I've gotten you to be positive in the car and positive at the kitchen table, and about asking him, how was practice today? How'd it go? This is your opportunity to share this experience with your son. It's a positive family experience. Don't be a distraction. You've prepared him all week being positive. I know when my dad used to talk in the stands, my dad would come to the games. He's 87 now. But when he's at the game, when my father, I'm the head coach of the football team, when my father would yell something in the stands, I recognized his voice among the 2,000, 2,500 people because that's the voice I'm used to hearing. Your kid can hear it. I promise you. I tell the parents that. I think they have to understand, don't be a distraction for your son. Be a positive influence. What you say on social media, those kids know what you're saying. Don't get on Facebook or Twitter and say something negative about the coaches. If you got a problem with it, email me, call me. We'll set up a meeting and we'll sit down and talk. The parents have to understand they have a role in the culture as well. Explaining to the parents, you're part of the team. You're not a bystander. You're a
That's
part of the team.
awesome. That's
And
awesome.
here is your role. This is what I need you to do to win. Because I always talk about here's what happens with a bad parent. Kid comes on Monday, and the coach spends 3 days reprogramming him to be unselfish. And then he goes home on the weekend and he hears coach did this wrong and you should more you. Instead of duties and responsibilities to your teammates, they hear about rights and privileges for themselves. That can't be a parent's mode. The parent can't be about your rights and your privileges, son. It's got to be about your duties and your responsibilities to the team.
Darren, that was so good. Guys, Justin, if you don't have a slide that says parents, you're part of the team, here's a great stat you can use. For every soldier on the front line, there are 10 support people making sure that soldier on the front line can succeed. For everyone who's in that foxhole, there's 10 military personnel making sure he's got ammo and food and water. So I think that'd be a great thing to talk to your parents about too, is you're part of the team. For every troop on the field, there's coaches, but there's parents too. There's booster club but I love that you're part of the team and you got to be positive. I've never heard anybody say that either, and I love that as well as they probably can recognize your voice. I mean,
You got to define it too, coach. So here's a way you could be part of the team. Moms volunteer to come up and make sandwiches for pregame for my boys. Dads, you can be part of our mentor group. Mom, you can be part of the people that come up here and do polish and pray in the locker rooms. You know, man, we need as much help on this team as we can get and show pictures of that. I got pictures on my slide. I already emailed it to you, Randy, of dads at a mentor meeting, dads on the sideline during pregame with my boys, moms doing polish and praying, pictures of my moms doing one-on-one. There's ways that you could also be a part of this program because, Coach, you say this all the time, what they're in on, they're all in on. It's hard to talk trash about how bad the program and you part of the booster club.
that's right. Yeah, or you're doing mentoring and you're polish and pray but don't let your parent meeting end. And I don't think I ever did this, but don't let your parent meeting end. I think Darren's throwing the gauntlet down of you're part of the team and it's kind of like in church where they say, don't just come sit in the pew, get involved. And parents got to get involved. And so, guys, this was amazing. I try to make these about an hour. And by the time I put it in my software that takes all my filler words out, usually it'll get down to about an hour. I am thrilled with today. We had more participation than normal, and a lot of people got better. I know I did. Anybody want to give a take home from today? I've got a couple. Jeff Wainwright said, effort takes. And the parents would say, talent. Anybody else with a take home? Or something you wish you would have mentioned? Anyway, I like John and Darren both said, I love watching you play. Really good stuff. Don't forget to say that. Write down on a piece of paper your goals and dreams for your kids' season this year, and you let them write it down, and you tell them to scrunch it up and throw it on the ground because who cares? It's not about you. This is a true stat. The average parent spends more time grooming their hair and preparing for how they look than in meaningful conversation with their kids. The average parent spends 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes a day getting their self together in the mirror, then talking to their kids in meaningful conversation. That would be a great parent meeting thing of, hey, we're going to spend more than 3 minutes a day in meaningful conversation with your kids because we're not transactional coaches, but are you going to? I think Wainwright said it really good. Use football as an avenue to deepen your relationship with your child. What's the next parent meeting need to parent? Y'all, this podcast, I've got the state coaches convention coming up. For you Texas coaches, OVR 99, I'll be in booth 1311. I know we got some Houston coaches on here. I need y'all to come by 1311, OVR 99. Appreciate it. Thanks for helping.